Public outrage is causing Cyprus President Nikos Anastasiadis to rethink the EU bailout plan for the country's debt crisis. Originally, the plan was to issue a one-time levy of 6.75% on all deposits less than 100,000 euros and an almost 10% hike on accounts holding more than that. Essentially, this means rather than the bondholders taking the hit, the EU is looking to dip into the savings of private citizens. In fear of losing all they had, people across Cyprus rushed to the banks this past weekend to extract what they could. But the president might not have to dwell on the levy decision too long. CNBC is reporting several parties in parliament plan on rejecting the levy in a Tuesday vote, with one member of its finance committee saying, "We do not want to have this island in the throttle of these organizations for the next 10 to 15 years. So if parliament does reject the bank levy, what are its other options? A writer for the Washington Post says the island country has a few options, which include negotiating another European bailout, trying to bail out the banks themselves, approaching Russia or America for a bailout, or leaving the euro. The writer says none of those options are truly ideal. The Cyprus Finance Ministry suggested a potential tweak to the plan that savers holding less than 20,000 euros would be exempt from a bank levy. And while the EU says it will back a change to the plan, CNN Money points out the EU has usually stuck to its guns. The EU said the bailout set forth Saturday is the most prosperous idea for Cyprus. But commentators seem to think the opposite. An editorial for Bloomberg called this the worst plan the EU has developed. And a writer for The Economist said it was unfair, short-sighted, and self-defeating. Foreign powers have also voiced discontent, especially Russia. The Eurozone argues wealthier savers should pay the levy at a higher rate, but the BBC points out roughly 40% of the estimated 68 billion euros held in Cypriot bank accounts belong to foreigners, most of them believed to be Russians. Russian President Vladimir Putin called that increased burden on the wealthy unfair, and the Russian envoy to the EU warned Tuesday that the whole banking system can collapse if the levy is approved. Meanwhile, the IMF says those critics do not realize how much the agreement would force Cyprus banks to restructure and become healthier. For Newsy, I'm Megan Murphy. Multiple sources, a broader view.